Well, you know, it took the suffragists 72 years of never giving up to finally get the 19th Amendment passed. That's 3 generations of women.
3 full generations of women, sometimes the same family, that cause being passed down. And so many women who are featured in this exhibit and never lived to see the amendment passed. Yet they keep getting back up after a failure and they keep fighting for the right to vote.
And so the reason that we're so excited about the 100-year anniversary is that it just showed what tenacity is.
Behind me is a photo of the White House and women picketing in front of that White House in 1917. So these are Philadelphia suffragists, the Pennsylvania suffragists, who started the Silent Sentinel campaign, which was a campaign of women who went down and silently picketed the White House every day for months. This was an attempt to get President Wilson and folks in DC to pay attention to what was happening in trying to get women the right to vote. Luckily, a lot of the photos are really good from that time because they wanted the publicity for this. So getting these good high-res photographs was part of their campaigning, which was great for them in the 19-teens, but it's also really great for us that we can have these really amazing images. Alice Paul knows that these visuals are really what is going to make a difference. So when these women end up in prison and then they end up out of prison, they have their workhouse gowns or their prison gowns that they take with them and they wear those on tour to give this really heightened visual to people who see them, but also any press to get that message across. They even know that since it's going to be in black and white, they wear white so that they stand out when they're being photographed.
Definitely share the story of the Justice Bell that's part of the 1915 campaign in Pennsylvania. It has a great Philadelphia tie.
The Justice Bell, or the Women's Liberty Bell, was the creation of a woman named Catherine Ruschenberger, and she is a Chester County suffragist.
This is a symbol used by the suffragists throughout the movement because they're always trying to connect their cause to that of the American Revolution and fight oppression.
This is an attempt to convince the male voters of Pennsylvania that they should vote for suffrage. So they need to be convinced. So they have the Justice Bell and they put it on the back of a truck and it travels through all 67 counties of Pennsylvania. Suffragists, they help drive the truck, they maintain the truck, they're on the back of the truck giving these speeches, there's parades with it, and it's a really big event everywhere this bell goes. And it's also saying, like, look, these women are knowledgeable, they know what they want, they are able to stand up in front of crowds of strangers and speak eloquently and persuasively about this.
When we're traditionally taught the story of the women's suffrage movement, we're very much looking at the white mainstream movement. And that pretends as though the movement moved in one direction over the course of 70 years, and they knew exactly where they were going and how to achieve a national amendment. That is not true, and that really collapses a lot of the complexities, particularly around race, that follows through the entire movement.
African American women after the 19th Amendment still faced poll taxes and threats of lynching and literacy exams. Folks who immigrated from Asian nations faced not even being allowed to be citizens.
By telling the full narrative, you include those voices of women of color who are fighting alongside or creating their own groups starting in the 1890s. Their story is paralleling that of the white stream suffrage movement, but they are excluded for nearly the entire fight. And they knew that they would be left out. But that didn't stop women of color from joining that fight and pushing for suffrage. But by 1920, they are excluded. And while there's millions of women who were able to vote under the 19th Amendment, it's just as important to remember that part of the population that was not able to actually do that in practice.
And even the suffragists who are huge, like Alice Paul, is a major factor in getting to the 19th Amendment. As soon as it's ratified, she says, we're not done. I'm going to write the Equal Rights Amendment.
We're still trying to figure out, like, should we pass it? We're nearing the 100th anniversary of that being first proposed in Congress.
It's that idea that, all right, we got the right to vote, but we still need rights to access. We need the right to participate. We need a way to have equal education, equal pursuits in our jobs.
And I think a lot of people don't know that it was 1974 before single women were able to get credit cards.
Issues like Title IX, issues like equal pay for equal work, these aren't new. These aren't new ideas. Some of them are written in the Declaration of Sentiments in 1848.
So we have been fighting this fight for a long time, and we're not over it yet. Right now, more women than men vote. However, in Pennsylvania, only 50% of the eligible women voted in the last election. So we're making progress, but not good enough. Hopefully one of the great legacies that this 100th anniversary will leave will be an inspiration for everyone, men and women, to go out and vote. Vote this year and vote every year.